Strictly music, only music, and nothing else. And today is the day, ladies and gentlemen. The most anticipated album of the year has finally been released on the most notorious political assassination in American history, November 22nd. Kendrick Lamar has dropped a surprise album to the behest of no one. No one knew this was coming. GNX. And he is going berserk. This is a man possessed. This is more than a victory lap for an individual who has already won. He can rest on his laurels and just wait for the Super Bowl, but he refuses to do so as we expected. We knew her album was coming. We just didn't know when. And he dropped it on a very notorious day. If you've been following Kendrick this year, all of his release dates have been significant. So let's go ahead and get right into it. Strictly music, only music, and nothing else. I'm not going to pull any punches. We're going to go line by line, track by track, and bar for bar. Now, track one, Whacked Out Murals. Whacked Out Murals. Now, this album is laced with LA slang, LA lingo, and LA beats. So if you're not familiar, you need to do your research on what whacked out means. Now, track one, we start out with the almost ominous opening. Kendrick pulls no punches as he addresses Super Bowl controversy, Lil Wayne, and someone putting graffiti on his mural, aka whacking it out. He says he's committed to remaining true to his style regardless of the controversy, and you'll see that throughout the entirety of this album shortly. Kendrick pulls no punches and he wastes no time. Now, track two, Squabble Up. The highly anticipated snippet resurfaces on track two. We heard this snippet in the video towards the beginning of Not Like Us, and this beat is insane, and Kendrick tears straight through it like an angry child as he declares "Squabble Up" on the sample. And this is crazy. Production lost their mind on this. Kendrick shows he's all gas, no brakes, and he simply says again and again and again, "Squabble up." And for a man who has been war-torn throughout the entirety of this year, he is still declaring that he is ready to go with whoever at whatever time, as he declares again, "Squabble up." And if you're not familiar with "Squabble up" means, get in tune with some LA lingo. Now, track three, Luther. We run into a softer Kendrick featuring SZA, a combination that can never go wrong, and I almost prefer this to the previous track with the Luther Vandross sample laced all throughout as well. That is fire. The TDE twins harmonize, and I like this one a lot. This is definitely one of them ones. Kendrick and SZA, they show up and show out every time. This one is definitely going to be getting a lot of burn, and you're going to be hearing this everywhere. Now, let's keep it going. Track four, Man at the Garden. This beat has a good amount of breathing room, and it almost resembles a Busta Rhymes sample in the beginning. Kendrick says he deserves it all as he gives a glimpse of his process/work ethic. It seems that Kendrick is allowing us in his thought process during these times, as he has been known to do. Kendrick states that he is just as deserving, if not more so deserving, of the GOAT title than other rappers, and he is looking forward to all the smoke. Looking at his run this year, how could you debate that he is not in that conversation, if not at the top of that conversation? And you can couple this year with his career. His accolades speak for themselves. How can you argue with Kenny? He also declares that his mom and dad are just as deserving, as he shows what motivates him to go this far and go this hard. Now, track five, Hey Now. This is a different Kendrick. This is a different Kendrick, ladies and gentlemen, as he seems fully immersed in his LA roots on this album with the flow and the beat selection. The Elohim has switched the flow again and again and again throughout the course of his career, and he has done it yet again on this album, GNX, and this beat is nasty. He has given LA all the fuel they need as he takes the victory lap that he deserves for this year, this phenomenal year that he's had. And this is a very, very, very nasty Kendrick. He is in a very deep bag as he proclaims, "The black no, I just strangled me a goat." Big ups to them. I do believe there is another feature on here. I'm going to have to spin back a little later and give you guys a little bit more in terms of who's featured on this, because I am very early and we have yet to have a full breakdown on this track list. So just bear with me. I will be getting that to you guys later on today as soon as it's up. Now, track 6, Reincarnated, on a Tupac style beat. He also has a splash of the Tupac flow. Kendrick states he is reincarnated as he goes through his various incarnations. At one point he says he was a black woman turned drug addict, and then again his current self as he criticizes himself from the viewpoint of God. He is reincarnated, and this beat is nasty as we see the Latin element return. We have Latin samples laced throughout the entirety of this album. We see it in track 1, we see it now. It's just everywhere. LA is very, very, very deep. And for him to be able to reincarnate on this track and criticize himself from the viewpoint of God, it just shows the multifaceted, introspective levels that Kendrick is able to tap into. And that is what makes him the GOAT. Now, track 7, TV Off. I'm really liking these LA heavy bop style beats. Kendrick shows just how deep his bag truly is as he claims it's a few real niggas left, but it's not enough. After he gets that off, he proclaims Mustard, and DJ Mustard switches the beat halfway through and allows Kendrick to dismantle that as well. LA is eating great this year, and they have another full course meal with this GNX album that Kendrick just dropped on us. Now, track 8, Dodger Blue. Melodic Kendrick returns and gives a bit of breath, and I like this placement a lot. It feels like a refreshing brief intermission, and we need that because we're getting hit over the head with some bops and some hits right now. This is very, very good. Now, there are some features on here. Again, I'll have to shoot out another video and go into a more deep dive of this because I'm very early. I'm one of the first things smoking when it comes to Kendrick Lamar GNX. I didn't waste any time getting this out to y'all. So there are a bit of gaps in the information that we have present, but I'll be having that later on. I like this a lot. I like the tail end of this album, and I like the breath that it provides. This is very, very dope. The placement on track 8 is phenomenal. We get to take a deep breath before we go back in. Now, track 9, Peekaboo. They are talking about nothing as Kendrick digs deep. He digs deep. He can and he will put LA on the map once again with this album and with the run that he's been on this year. He is putting on for LA, and that is clear throughout the entirety of this album as he's joined by some of his LA natives as well. Again, same issue with the features, so bear with me. He addresses adversity and the controversy. He double downs and rides into war with LA on his banner, LA on his back. And as we approach the tail end of this Surprise album, we can determine one thing. Kendrick is doing this for his hometown. This is a different Kenny. We have not seen this one before. He's still showing us that the bag is deep. Now, track 10, unironically, The Heart Part 6, which Drake tried to take from himself amidst the beef. If you're familiar with Kendrick, you know he has a Heart series, and he had Hearts 1 through 5, and during the beef, Drake made The Heart Part 6 to be a bit facetious. Kendrick takes that back and adds it to his Heart series, and it fits far more neatly than Drake's attempt at it. The Heart series lives on, and I love to see it. If you know, you know, with the Hearts Part 1 through 5, 6 definitely adds to it, and you want to listen to it in conjunction with the first 5. Kendrick speaks on his current attempt at being a black label owner as he shows his growth throughout all the Hearts. So this is going to be added to the Heart series, and we will be giving that a lot of burn. That is dope. I like how he took that back, and he said, you can attempt to do what I know that I can definitely do. Now, track 11, after the album title GNX, Track 11, also named GNX. Another LA track. Not a huge fan of the first feature on this. However, this is definitely a niche song. So for the target audience, this will most definitely go. This is for LA, and me not being an LA native, maybe I don't get it. But this is strictly music, only music, and nothing else. So you let me know how you feel. And if any LA natives happen to come across this, you get in here and tell me how you feel about track 11, GNX. It's still a phenomenal track. Not a big fan of some of the features on here. I'm not entirely sure who the features are, but we'll be doing a deep dive later on. We just want to get this out for the people right now. Now, track 12, Gloria. Kendrick Lamar ends this surprise album on a soft note, joined by SZA. This beat also has the same Latin sample seen throughout the entirety of the album. Another one. This one is definitely a go. Big ups to both Kenny and SZA. They don't miss, as Kendrick speaks on his love for his woman, further addressing the controversy and rumors without directly doing so, as the guitar carries us out to conclude Kendrick Lamar's surprise 6th studio album. So what do we think about GNX? GNX, all in all, is a phenomenal album. This is crazy work. We knew it was coming. We weren't entirely sure in what form it would come and how close to the Super Bowl we would be receiving that, but we received it, and it is being well received. As we all scramble to listen to and get our thoughts and opinions out, we can definitely say one thing: Kendrick Lamar is far from done. This is a man possessed, and we're also going to dive into the significance of him dropping on the date of the most historical political, or just the most historical assassination in American history, but that's for a later video. Strictly music, only music, and nothing else. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know your thoughts on this album, and you're going to be hearing a lot from me in regards to this. This is well needed at the tail end of this year, and we can all appreciate good music. Strictly music, only music, and nothing else. Get at me. I'm here for it all.